Hi, and welcome to the Mentor Maya 7 YouTube channel. My name is Margaret Tambe. Today we are going to discuss Destiny Helper Gone Wrong. These are experiences that I had, and I'm going to tell the stories to better caution others that would ever at one time or another find themselves in this situation. So the concept of destiny helper is a true concept. There are people that will meet in our lives, and our lives will never be the same again. They would bring a lot of change. It could be financial change by helping us financially. It could be by connections. Maybe they introduce you to an employer or a business connection or a bank that will give you a loan and things like that. It could be that they just counsel you on something, maybe medical advice, maybe about traveling, maybe about business ideas. It could come in many different forms. Maybe you're a farmer and they tell you how to do your farming better for the yields to increase. So destiny helpers, they come in different sizes and they come in different shapes. But the big question is, are you ready? Am I ready when we run into these destiny helpers? Because if we are not ready, then we might miss the opportunity. And getting ready can mean anything. It can mean like by the time your destiny helper introduces you to an employer, do you have the qualifications, the educational qualifications to fill those shoes? It could be, do you have an idea, a business idea you have worked on, and the only thing holding you back now is having some money. So by the time they link you to an investor or a bank for loans, then you are ready to kick off. So getting ready is anything. It could be getting ready by our character, our morale, psychologically. Okay? So the big question is, are we ready when we meet these destiny helpers? I'm going to tell two short stories. I'll do this episode into three parts. Two of the first parts will be two short stories, one short story each. And then at the end, I will do a conclusion that I'm going to call the responsibilities or expectations of a receiver, a taker. You, that person accepting help, what are your responsibilities? Okay, so stick along and I believe you will learn a thing or two. Now, I will start with the very first story, and this is by no means to shame these people. If they ever see this video, please, I'm not using your name. I'm just taking these examples to caution others. I will start with the very first person. Let's call her Becky. This was a few years ago. I had relocated from the US into Cameroon, and I had been in Cameroon by that time, maybe going to 2 years or like at least a year. And we went out for group evangelism. Now I and my partner, we went to a little shop with selling building materials. And we met a very beautiful young girl sitting in front of it on a bench. So we greeted her, we shared the word of God with her, and she accepted to give her life to Christ. So I stayed back to make connection with her because this shop was not far from where I live. So I stayed back to make connection with her, to know her more and stuff like that. In discussing with her, I found out she was a single mother, like the child's father was not in their life completely. And she was living with her elder sister, and her elder sister was widowed at that time. But the house where they were living was a distance away. You had to take a taxi to actually get there. So we talked and talked and talked. I took her number. And after that, we really maintained connections and everything. Now, after that point, every time I was going to church, there's a junction that we'll get to. She'll be there waiting. I'll pick her up. We'll go to church together. When we close from church, we'll come back home together. We'll eat and spend the Sunday together. Then she'll take a taxi and go back to her house with her daughter. Her daughter was almost 2 years old at that point. So we maintained this relationship until months passed, maybe like 6 months, 7, 8 months passed. And then one day she told me that she would have to leave this town where we were in. I asked her, she said that her sister, who is a widow, said the in-laws do not want anybody staying in that house. The sister was living in a small single family home, and the sister had one son, and this son was in a boarding school. He only came back during holidays. So this girl was the only person with her daughter living with her sister. She said her sister said her in-laws do not want any of her family in her house. They don't want her to be there. So she told me she'll be leaving. I said, so where are you going to now? She said she's not sure yet, but she'll get back to me. Eventually she came to me. She told me that she'll be going to Yaoundé. She knows somebody in Yaoundé, which is the capital of Cameroon, right? That she'll be going to Yaoundé to look for a job and see what she can do with herself. At this point, she had learned, she told me before she got pregnant, she was learning how to sew. She was learning tailoring, and she had learned for about maybe 5 months before she got pregnant. So she had basic skills of how to thread a machine, sew straight lines and things like that, but she could not really sew even a simple free flow dress. So she went to Yaoundé with her kid. They went together, we kept in communication. When she got there, she got a house helping job. She was a house help for somebody, and the job was tedious. Every time I call her, she would complain, and they weren't paying shishi. Like the pay was so bad, like 3/4 of her salary would go for rent. Now, if you know Yaoundé, to take taxi transportation is very expensive, and she has a child with her. So once she paid, I think she had a roommate. But once they split the bills, then she's left with basically nothing to eat. So things were really rough for her. I remember there's one time I went to Yaoundé for some documentations. I saw her, we met at a junction in a bar. She didn't want me to come to her where she was living, like it was inside, deep inside. She said she could not get there easily. So she came and met me at the bar. We ate something, we drank, and she was looking gaunty, very slim. She's normally a tall, beautiful, she could really be a model, but she had lost weight and she was just pale, and you could see worry on her face. So she came, and then I left. When I came back, I was so worried. I was like, oh my goodness, what can I do for this girl? You know, at this point, it's like from every information I'm gathering, it's like I'm one of the people that if she's going to get any type of help to assist her and her child, then it would be from me. So, and I was questioning her. The child's father was in Yaoundé, the same city where she is right now. But she told me since she went there, he had come there to see them like 2 times, and he promised, I'm coming, he's not coming. You know, so I said, okay. I was encouraging her until now, about 1 year or going to 2 years later, I had to move again to Germany. Now, at this point, we were only 3 of us in the house, in my home. It was myself, my young son, and one of my daughters. And my daughter had just was finishing up with high school, A-levels, and was to get to the university. And she was a little bit on the rough side. So I discussed with my husband. I said, we are not able to leave her in the house. I know that the university is in the same city, but because she's kind of rough, she needs supervision. I asked if she could go and live with a relative, another relative in the same city. My husband was not having it. I said, okay, I set out to look for somebody that would, by my judgment and expectation, would be more responsible to be there in the house with her. It's a high school girl, there's nothing to do, just live in the house with her so that you keep eyes on things and make sure everything is going okay. So I contacted this girl. I said, this is the situation, I have to travel, but I have still like 6 months before I leave. But I want you to know that I want you to come here, live in the house, and I will get you to do something. Okay, while you're here, you will not just be idle. I'll get you to do something. I will pay your child's fees, because the child was already, I think 3 or something, needed to get into pre-nursery. I said, I'll pay your child's fees into pre-nursery. That way, when your child is going to school, you have the time to go learn something. We discussed, and she said she wanted to, she really liked tailoring. She wants to continue to learn and finish the tailoring course. I said, okay, good and fine. So we kept on discussing in that line. I even told her, because I had a business that I had closed down, making children clothing. So I had 2 sewing machines in the house. I had a table, a big office table that was really like good wood. And I was like, oh, guess what? I even have these things. So you will learn your sewing. I'm going to keep all of these things. When you're finished, they are going to be what you take to open a shop for yourself. You know, and we were both excited about it. So time passed, about 2 months before I left. I told her, I said, you know what? I think, you know, the complaints in Yaoundé continued. They don't have food, they don't have this. That child is sick of malaria, there is no money to buy medicine. It's just on and on and on. I said, I think it even makes sense for you to come here now that I'm still here, so that you are going to know how we run the house. You are going to know the things that happen around here and the expectations and things like that before I leave. And even my daughter who stayed behind, you guys can start getting acquainted. She said, good and fine. So she came. Now, when she came, I had started learning how to sew. And this place I was learning how to sew, I had to drive without traffic. I had to drive one way, is like 45 minutes, be there, and then come back in the evening. Every day I used to go and learn how to sew. So when she came with her daughter, the first thing that struck me was, I would get up maybe 6:30, because my laundry, I used to do my laundry myself, hand wash clothes, and laundry for my son, I used to do it myself, to clean my bathroom, everything, wash it, dry clean it, everything, as long as it's from my room inside, was my responsibility. I will not give it to anybody. So I'll get up in the morning, I will do my own chores until my daughter would make breakfast, and we would be there. It would be like, I would have gone already and dropped my son to school and come back to get ready to go for my learning, the program I was doing. So we would be there until it would be like 8:30, 9. Her daughter would get out of bed, come into the living room, because she hears us eating breakfast, and then she will come and we'll give her breakfast, and her mother will still be on the bed. She's on the bed, but she's awake. Okay? And then I noticed that sometimes the child will come, would have made maybe pap, puff, will put dish her own, give it to her. She'll be eating there. Sometimes she'll go to the room, mama, come and eat, mama, come and eat. You know how children are. And then she'll be shouting at the child, go, leave me alone. Or sometimes the child will be in the living room with us. She will call the child. She said, come here. What are you doing over there? What are you eating? Meanwhile, she's aware that I'm in the house and my daughter is in the house. So I used to look at it very strange. I'm like, first of all, How do you feel comfortable to be on the bed until this hour when the owner of the house is already up and doing things, and we are making breakfast and you are not taking any part in that? And then sometimes she'll get up, we have already made breakfast, she'll get in the kitchen, make her own thing for her and her daughter, they'll eat. I was like, what is this? Sometimes she'll go and buy her bread and come like she's eating something different from what we ate, and we'll just be looking at it. I was like, wow, I don't get it. Like, really? And you hear us talking, I mean, my home is not even that big. We are like right there, and you don't even say good morning. You just stay you on your bed until it's your time to get up. It was very weird. So, but I didn't say anything. I stayed quiet. I was getting ready, you know. I was letting it build momentum. Let me really observe what is going on. And then, after that incident, I had told her that when I go and learn sewing, my son closes from school at 3:15 in the afternoon. Could she please go and pick him up from school? Like, I take him to school in the morning, but she should be there at 3:15, pick him up, bring him home, give him food, make sure he does his homework and stuff like that. But I'll be living with my son, so when I'm gone, basically she's just caring for herself and her son and her daughter. So she was picking my son up as I instructed, but it did not last. And then she would pick him up, bring him home. When my daughter closes from school and comes home, she will leave my son and her daughter with my daughter and go out. And this was going on for a good while, and I did not realize it. 3 weeks, 1 month or more, I didn't realize it until one day I started calling. I would call. First of all, I talk to my daughter, and my daughter would tell me that, oh, she was in the house with this little girl and my son and stuff. So I started questioning, like, why? You are in high school, you're studying. Why are you studying and babysitting? This child is just 2.5, going to 3. Why are you studying and babysitting? Where is the child's mother? You know, but I didn't say anything. I'm still observing. Then I realized that most of the times now, when I will call, I would say that this, that about the house, and then she would tell me, oh, sorry, I'm not in the house. I'm at my sister's shop. As I said in the beginning, her sister's shop was not far from where I lived. So she would say that I'm in my sister's shop. Every time I call, the same thing. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you look here? Oh, sorry, I'm not in the house. I'm in my sister's shop. And then one day, I was already like, this is not going to work, because I'm here and you are doing this. And I'm bringing you so that you can keep your eyes over things. One day, I was coming back. It was like 6 p.m. I decided to stop by somewhere to get some roasted fish from street vendors, yeah? And then I called her. We had some bobolo, manioc sticks in the fridge. I called her. I said, I'm coming up with some fish. Could you please get some of the bobolo and cook it, warm it up, so that once I get there, we can just eat dinner? And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm walking to the house, but I'm not close to the house right now. I said, where are you? Oh, I was at my sister's shop. And then I sat there the whole time this woman was roasting fish until I got home. I was thinking, I said, what is it that I'm getting wrong in this thing? Is this not the same sister who told you you could not stay in her house because her in-laws don't want you there? How come now? And is this not the same sister? You went to another city, looked for a babysitter job that was so strenuous. Even so, I was not able to feed or to buy medicines for you guys, not to talk about paying school fee for your child. And there was no indication that this sister was sending you money, or any other sister, or your parents. No indication. So how come I've brought you now to a place where I'm not even going to be there? But I look at your age, thinking that if you are 25 to 27, you have some responsibility in you. Come and be home so that you keep things on. The only person you'll be caring for is your daughter. Because my daughter who's I'm living back home, if it comes to house chores, she is on top. If it comes to cooking, she's like tap, 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 fetish. She's done. So I'm like, I've brought you here. I'm about to travel. I have like a month before I leave. Look at the character. You cannot even wait for me to go. So I'm wondering, when I'm gone, how is it going to be? Long story short, I came to the conclusion that she was not the right person to stay in the house, because I even see that my daughter was even more responsible than she was, even though she was maybe 8 years older or something like that. So I thought about it, I discussed with my husband. I was so worried. I was like, oh my goodness, but how do I help her? For her not to stay there in the house is one thing, but for me to say that I'm not helping you completely would be completely wrong. It's another thing, you know. So I slept over it, I thought over it, I came to the decision that I'm still going to make sure she gets training. So I called her, I said, this is the decision I've taken, because for the short time I've been here, these are the things you've been doing. I don't think I'm comfortable to leave you here in the house. The person I was looking for is somebody who's responsible and settled. But I see that you are not settled at all. Your mind is out there. Your mind is out there. I don't want to come between you and your sister, but this is the same sister who did not allow you to stay in her house. Now every day you are at your sister's shop. I said no. So I told her that I've decided that you're going to leave, you go back either to your sister, to your family, wherever you decide to go. But what I will do for you is that I'm going to pay the entirety of the money that is needed for you to learn sewing. To learn sewing is 2 years. For a good standard of that, you can say that I'm going to open my own shop. It's 2 years. So I asked around and got the price of a month. I calculated it for 2 years to pay. I counted this money cash. I think it was a Sunday afternoon. I called her in the living room. I counted this money cash. I put it in her hand. I said, this is money for you to learn sewing. I don't know where you are going to live. Either you are going to your sister's place, or you're going back to Yaoundé, or you're going to where your parents are. I said, please take it, go and put it in a madam's hand so that you are able to learn sewing for 2 years. And when you're done, then I will know about it, then we'll take it from there. She took that money. It's funny. She took that money, she looked at it, she folded it again. She held it like this. She said, thank you. She stood up and then she walked to the room. When she walked to the room, I did not say anything again. Then she came back to me about 2 hours later. She said, is it possible for me to sleep here today? We will leave tomorrow. I said, sure. I said, no problem. No, I'm not throwing you out. Sure, you can sleep here. She went in. She packed all her things. When tomorrow came, she was gone. Now, when she went, I did not hear from her again. I don't even know where she went to. If you ask me, I don't know if she went to learn sewing. I did not hear nothing until I traveled. I came to Germany. I did not hear nothing from her until maybe 6 months later. She wrote to me one time. She's on WhatsApp. She said, hi, how are you guys? I said, good. She said, how was your trip? How is Germany? I said, good. I said, how is your sewing going? She said, small, small. It's going gradually. I said, okay. And then we did not discuss again. And then after that, I saw a couple of times or so, she was putting pictures of her daughter wearing a school uniform, doing the daughter's hair with nice beads on it, and what. So I was happy. I said, okay, she says the learning sewing is going okay, and her daughter is in school. I was happy. I was like, okay, maybe somebody has stepped up to pay for her daughter's schooling, and it was a private school, okay? Her daughter, she used to dress her sharp, nice white socks, everything clean. I was happy for her. Now, since I came to Germany, I was here for about 2 years. I heard from her about 3 times. Then, one day, she contacted me on Facebook Messenger. She said, can I talk to you? I said, yes. I said, my WhatsApp number. I sent her my WhatsApp number. She contacted me on WhatsApp. She said, hi. I said, hi. I said, hi, you guys. She saw my message. She did not answer. After about 1 week, she came back. She said, she wants to beg me for something. I said, what is it? She said, she's in difficulties. Things are difficult. She does not have school fee for her daughter. She does not have this. She does not have that. This and that. Food, this housing, this life is terrible. This, that. I said, where? I said, what happened to your sewing that you were learning? Because at this point, you should be able to be sewing little things from home. You know, free flow gowns, everything. I mean, at this point, she's supposed to have graduated. But I was saying, she can get a little machine from home, which is what people do. They do a patchwork from house. They sew free flow gowns. They flow. It's so easy things that neighbors can just give you like that without you going to a professional shop to give it to. I said, so what about that? You are not making any money from home? She said, oh, about that. She didn't even learn that sewing completely. When she went, she started, but then she used the money to enroll her daughter in a private school, and then the money got finished and she could no longer pay for the sewing, so she has not even completed the sewing. But she can try a little bit, but it's not really good to the standard that she can be able to do patchwork at home to get money. I said, my dear, I said, I'm sorry. I'm not in a position to help you. I said, because one would think that if you have this little money, you would instead learn sewing and put your child in a government school. I said, when children are young, that is not when they need money the most. They need money the most as they are growing. So while they are young, it is your time to invest in you, into something that will give you cash flow as they grow. Constant and reliable cash flow as they grow, so that as they get older and they are needing more and more money, you will be able to meet up with at least some of their basic needs. It's not to take the money I gave you to learn sewing and you go and pay it in a private school. Now you cannot even maintain the payments. So since then, I have not heard from her again. Or maybe she greeted me one more time, just a hi, and she was gone. So that's it. That is the first story of a destiny helper gone wrong. Reason it yourself. Tell me. Comment on that. Let me know what you think about this. And this is something that we see frequently in our communities, in our society. People take these things for granted. Let me know if you have had any experiences like this. Is there something that I could have done differently? Or what do you think? Let me know. Share it. Share it. This is a caution to young people. Okay? We've all been in a position where we needed a hand to lift us up. If you know my story, I've been somebody that I would go for hours breastfeeding a child. I haven't eaten myself. I would even give the child my breast and there's no milk coming out because I'm hungry. So I'm not saying this to shame anybody. I'm saying it to caution us of the way we think and the way we do things. So watch the second part, which is coming up soon, to hear the second story, and then we are going to conclude on the video that says the responsibilities of a receiver, because receivers have responsibilities. Thank you, and see you next time. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.